Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways. And with us, as usual, Joker Supreme. You're very happy all of a sudden because your team still got a manager, which is a change.
Absolutely.
And they won a game.
No, we didn't win. We drew.
Oh, yeah, you're pathetic.
We drew 2-all with Swansea away, which we should have won. They had a great patch, but I thought we had more of the game. Chelsea's woes continue, and Liverpool have lost Brendan Rodgers.
Well, I'm very pleased to see Jose Mourinho is now sweating a little bit because I think his.
You don't like his arrogance?
His attitude is diabolical, and that forward of his, what they did to us.
Costa.
Yeah, it was
Costa you.
Diabolical. Anyway, we went and gave the Reds a good rogering, which they deserve.
They're very quiet today.
Yeah, I see there's not one word from any Red at all.
Yeah.
And the other Reds have lost their manager, so now they'll get someone decent at last.
Sunderland, you told me Dick Advocaat's thrown it in.
He's gone, he's called it a day. He said he's had enough of 1 point in 9 games or whatever. And Newcastle, he's got to be the next boy to go.
Yeah, the Wally with the brolly must be sweating.
Yeah, I think that he's
but
under pressure.
Liverpool are going to have to find someone quick, pronto.
They're talking about Ancelotti.
Yes, you're a good manager. He came to Chelsea.
Yeah, what about, do you think Jose can lose his job?
Jose, no, I don't think so. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Wouldn't it be fun to see him go back to one of his big clubs?
He'll be picked up very quickly.
Let's go and have a look at our 3 to follow.
His dad, distorted humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
Oh, have another, wins the derby. Lilacs and Lace, 48-1, upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Right, well, let's go to the Vaal and have a look and see what we got there. Spielberg's left us, which is a huge relief at this stage, but we're going to the Vaal and we're going the 29th of September. We're going to go and have a look at race 1, which is 1,200 meters. Marcus and Ingrid Euster had a big hand to play here. The one we picked out looks like he'd go on to be a nice horse.
Yeah, the horse we picked out is the runner-up. Marcus and Ingrid's horses ran 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and they all ran very well. You can see ours down the inside. Please note that the one on the outside, I think, is from the Zaki stable. First Officer L, the Captain L, was heavily supported, runs a very good race. The one in the yellow cap comes from behind, and the one that we found, Reef of Fortune, is from Louis Goosen's stable, Gunther Rochman, and that looks like it's got a blue cap on. Your eventual winner has the orange headgear, or bridle, I should say, with Pierre Stradom, a horse called Planner.
The blue with the black spots on it, yeah. Interesting, Pierre rode this horse for Baron Boertes, and he omitted to ride Louis' horse, and Gunther Rogeman rode it and gave it a peach of a ride down the inside. He's got a lovely stride, blue cap there. But Pierre did get up to win, and
it was a very good race. Just at this stage, the horse that they backed is called First Officer L. I don't know if it was greenish, but that looms up in the black cap. And it looks like it's going to win on the outside, but Pierre's kept a bit, and then Gunther goes for his stick down the inside on Reef of Fortune, and it ends up being a ding-dong finish.
Yeah, really good finish. 3 top riders having a go at it, and Pierre, at the end of the day, just hangs on, shortest of short heads. I think that the run under the belt definitely helped that.
By Trippy, that Reef of Fortune.
By Trippy, yeah.
Good
Out
strategy.
of a rich man's gold mare. Now you see that's old Wilgerbos Drift.
RMG, the mare, rich man's gold, correct.
Just talking about Wilgerbos Drift, Mary had a horse we wanted to put in, which ran in the last race at Kenilworth. Unfortunately, we didn't get, our downloading didn't work or whatever, but the thing's name was Carrie Bouquet.
Yes.
Now, why this is interesting is that this is an imported mare. Okay, she's 5 years old. She's had 6 starts, and she really is beautifully bred. She's by Fastnet Rock, out of a Sadler's Wells mare.
Superb pedigree.
Ran over a mile, ran a cracking good race. So put Kerry Bouquet in your play next time it runs.
Yeah.
It looks like it might just win some races here. The next one we went to, Mike de Kock at Scottsville. Farik, let's go and pick this one up in the first at Scottsville yesterday.
Yeah, Farik is for Michael de Kock and Sheikh Hamdan. Drawn out deep and a little sluggish at the gate. Anthony elects to go over to the more favoured ground and runs in behind them. It runs a very good race. The horse leading is on the inside fence, is a horse called Sublime Code, who is a warm white knight, if I'm not mistaken, and that leads from the jump. Had the form at second on debut, and Alec Forbes, who had a good day yesterday, he leads us. But the horse we found, you can see it a long way back, James.
Yeah, it's in the striped cap behind the horse with the red blinkers. And let me tell you, this horse runs a very, very good race, Farik. He was fancied a little in this race, and when he does find daylight down the inside, he just quickens up. It shows you class jockeys. They get in the right position, even from a bad draw. And he just got beaten by a horse that really ran a cracker first time out for Alistair Gordon. Alistair's in a rich vein of form as well, which is nice to see. And this really did.
Yeah, you've got to see it. It really picks it up. Now, this is going to be very hard horse to beat next time for Farik, because Sublime Code has made it all and has won well. But look at this runner-up coming on nicely after running all over the place. So Anthony Delpesh on Farik is second. Remember the name.
Right, we go from there. You'll come back to me, and we'll go from there to Scottsville, the second race. Now, we all know Via Africa. Via Africa has had a couple of brothers and sisters for one of the most charming men in racing.
Andre.
Andre is
Andre Hopeflesh, a great guy.
Nice
Great
chap.
guy.
He deserves every
bit of success. He's a warm guy, and he's always friendly, and always comes in a chat and talks to me about my health. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. Well, he's got the Elusive Fort filly running here in the second race. We picked this one up, Elusive Enchantment, beautifully named, and we think this might be a very nice filly.
Yeah, there it is, drawn towards the inside, and I know that Andre was on course because he had a couple of runners with Duncan Howes. It comes out well, James. It shows good speed for a debut run.
Very good speed for Elusive Fort as well, but remember Via Africa's the half sister, and she goes along well. She just obviously needed the experience, this filly. She got lovely action, bowling along in front. She gets beaten by a filly that's run 3 very good races. I thought that Alec Forbes gave this a cracking good ride. Hannah's Answer was drawn wide. Yeah. He moved over, is in the yellow colours on the outside. And here she just doesn't really know what she's doing, that filly on the inside of Andre Hopeflesh in the cream colours.
James, just to interrupt you, an interesting horse is in Mary Lali's colours, the runner-up called Jollery. And I said to Tony Rivlin, this horse improved. He said that when it ran first time out, the bit snapped in its mouth.
Is that so?
A bit snapped. And he said they've had a couple snap. There's a fault somewhere. That runs second. But as you say, the winner's home. And the horse we found, Elusive Enchantment, pegs back and overtakes the favourite Chapel Queen for third.
Now she starts running on really well. You know, she just really runs on well to get the hang of what's going on. And this filly, I think, over a mile plus, might be a very nice filly. She just looks like she's got some ability. She's a nice, beautifully made filly. Yeah. And good luck, as we said, to the whole team concerned. But keep those 3 and the 4th one, Kerry Bouquet, in your little black book. I know there are a lot of you that keep this little black book, and we'll be showing you some horses later that you should be following. So let's go and have a look at Blast from the Past.
Gates are open, soft falling rain, pulling clear. Soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2,000 guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mining style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
Great World, well drawn along the inside. Arabian Lass, the last one. They said, and away they go. Great Will, the first to break the line, following on the outside is On the Tiles. Ladies Delight is also handy with Arabian Lass, and Secretary General's going up to get a good position. They were followed by Fav's Fancy, in behind that London News, then Divine Force, Sovereign Seas, Divided Loyalty, Grecian Gale, and What a Prospect is at the end of the field. Past the 1200 they go, and Great Will, the leader, a length. Arabian Lass second, Ladies Delight third, Secretary General fourth, Fav's Fancy racing fifth, On the Tiles is in sixth, Sovereign Seas is seventh, Divine Force is eighth, London News is ninth. Then comes Divided Loyalty, What a Prospect, and Grecian Gale is the back marker. 800 metres left to race now. Great Will by 1 length. Arabian Lass second. Ladies Delight third. Secretary General is fourth. Boss Fancy is fifth. On the Tiles is sixth. Sovereign Seas is seventh. London News is next with Divine Force. They race 5-6 lengths off the leader. At the top of the straight, 500 metres left to race now. Great Will, the leader, quickly tackled by Arabian Lass. Ladies Delight, Secretary General the outside. Boss Fancy between runners. London News on the Tiles. Sovereign Seas. Divine Force got 3 to find as they come past the 250. Secretary General has hit the front from Boss Fancy along the inside, but Boss Fancy's going 1 ticket for Secretary General, and Boss Fancy will beat last year's winner. Boss Fancy won it from Secretary General. Arabian Lass on the Tiles. Divided Loyalty, Ladies Delight, London News, then Divine Force. Grecian Gale behind these.
Forbes Fancy in the famous Graham Beck colours, Graham and Rona Beck. What a winner this turned out to be, but it was quite interesting to listen to the commentary. Ladies Delight, St. John Gray's mare, was probably one of the best bred mares that ever came to this country. Yeah. And
it's always a good field, James. It's always a good field.
London News, I think he's getting to the end of it.
Yeah, he's the end of his career there. You know, Secretary General had shown.
Just interesting, last week, you know, rode London News last week when he gave the outside to nobody.
Straight him.
Was no
Mini?
No. It was our new favourite presenter here, Gosforth Park, Greyville Friday nights.
Sharzy.
TGIF. Yeah, he came up sheepishly to me and he said, "You didn't mention us." I said, "Yeah, we actually didn't want to bury you, but you know the thing is that now he started chirping about it.
Now we've got to put him in his place.
We put him in his place.
Sharzy, don't ride them wide."
Yeah, that was one of his worst. He got beaten on a couple. I was just reading the bio on him. He got beaten on a couple of good horses in some good races, but he won some good races.
Oh, he won some massive. He's 10 years in Dubai. He rode some magnificent horses. A great rider. He had great BMT.
Yeah, and I think he's doing a fantastic job as a presenter.
Fantastic job. You know what I like? He's not scared to say, "I don't like a horse."
Yeah.
He's not going to mollycoddle and
the only thing he needs to do is he needs to
learn English.
If he could grow about a foot, because it's quite, you know.
He was James. He's going to actually. He was told when he comes on the show he's going to be on the box.
Yeah. So
they got him on the box. They got him on the box. Sharzy on the box.
Yeah.
No, a great addition to the team.
Yeah. Well, let's go and take a break, and we'll be back with you with Plum of the Week, and we'll carry on from there.
Inside, Roy's Gold comes out for a run with Ravishing Lizzie, and Yell now hit the front. Oblivion on the inside. Roy's Gold's going to try and make up the ground. Oblivion the leader. Roy's Gold's coming with a good claim. Yell between runners. It's Oblivion, Roy's Gold, and in between the two of them is Yell. Roy's Gold's coming on powerfully now, and Roy's Gold got up on the line. Second Oblivion, and then Yell.
Well, if you were going to back a winner on the weekend, the most topical winner had to be Roy's Gold in the last race at Scottsville. Yogus Governor, you could have got 9 to 10 on Interbet at any time. It's ended up starting 11 to 20, this horse, Roy's Gold. And nice to see Yogus get in the winner's enclosure. You know, he's been here a couple of months now, 3 or 4 months he's been having a go.
Yeah.
And
no, he's a very nice guy, and well done. Roy Moodley supported him with his partners, and he's a very nice guy, and he's trained a Met winner. He's out on his own as a private trainer, and he said he's got a lot of young horses that'll take good bit of time to get his stable rolling, but it's nice that he's got a winner under the belt.
Nice to get his first winner. And when Marcus jumped aboard this, you should have known because he rode it last time. This had to be the get-out stakes as far as the weekend was concerned. We're going to move along. We're going to have a look at current affairs. But in your call, we omitted to tell you, don't miss Dan Caname. Is his name? Dan?
Yeah, Dan Caname, the trainer.
Dan Caname, yeah.
He's coming in.
Is he Petey's son?
Peaky.
Yeah, Petey.
Yeah, he's Peaky's son. He's
son.
coming. We haven't spoken to him since he won the Vodacom Durban in July. You're going to talk to him about.
He's got lots of things going on in his life, you know.
He's swimming back to Alcatraz.
Yeah, back to Alcatraz, another one.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck to him. We'll be chatting to him in your call. But let's go and have a look at current affairs.
Bet on any sport at any time, even during play. From as little as R2, you too can be part of the action. With over 20 sports betting options, Interbet offers you more variety and the best odds. Go to www.interbet.co.za now.
Right, welcome to another edition of Current Affairs, and we've got group racing in the country. We've got the ARC to talk about, and some interesting things. But some time back we did say, anybody got any old archive photos, send them to us. We will put them up. It's good to go down memory lane, and we've got three that we're going to show you today that I dug out of my archives, and James and I were having a look at them. I asked James to try and work out who the people were in the photos, and he was pretty good, but he was stumped by some of them. And some of you might be stumped, but we're going to show you three photos. Here's the first one. This was played up at Summerfeld many years ago. The jockeys went against the trainers. And James, it's you want to name the team?
Well, the goalkeeper in the blue, okay, is a boy that should probably be playing for his favourite team. They might not have lost 3-0 yesterday. Manchester United, Shea.
Yeah.
That's him. Next to him is Vicky Curtis, is it?
No, Brian Stradham. The bottom row is Lawrence O'Donoghue, Brian Stradham, KB Shea, Dean Russell, and Dougie Roper.
Yeah.
The top row,
that's that new trainer, that Indian trainer we got there. He
yes,
gave up being a jockey and became a trainer.
That's right. That's Prince Robbie Hill.
Yeah.
Paddy Wynn is now with the Academy. Paul Sutherland, Paul Gadsby, who's training. I think it's Don Habib, Harold Taylor, who used to be Chief's
son's riding.
I think he moved to Perth. Harold Taylor, he's a Chief Start, and Jeff Lloyd, who's riding.
He moved to the Gold Coast.
He's moved to Gold Coast.
Shows you one moved to Perth. They've got Australia covered, those two.
Yeah, they've got their colours. There was. So that's what's happened to those guys, and that was their football team. And then many years ago, when they
Did you beat them?
Thumped them.
Thumped them. Yeah, I would have thought so. That bunch of them.
I remember Herman, myself, Craig Giddy. We had a good team.
Yeah.
Brian, who played for us? Brian, who trained Mill Reef. What was his name? Brian, the trainer from Joburg, little guy. He didn't train Mill Reef. We called him Mill Reef because Mill Reef was a small filly and he had thin legs. Brian, the trainer. I can't think of his name. Small guy. He played for us. Anyway, we beat them. But the next photo we're going to show you was when they started to put the presenters together many years ago.
Teletrack. That must be the beginning of
Teletrack. Yeah, they got us up to Joburg, and they were going through all the provinces, and across the top, Cecil and Tembu.
Yeah.
Stan Ellie. Bruce Willis, James Mapiri, Herbert Mulholland. That is our friend. Look at Herbert laughing. That's our friend Jahan Malherbe, who we call Herbert Mulholland. There's the COO of Gold Circle, Graham Hawkins.
Who's a pretty boy next door to him? He looks like he should be in Hollywood.
That's young Sheldon.
Oh, his hair got darker since then.
Yeah. Well, I think his wife's a hairstylist.
Oh, okay.
And then Neil Andrews.
Yeah.
The late Terence Kirshner.
Yeah.
And the Bonsky beat on the bottom.
That's amazing.
That's an amazing old photo. And the last one was a photo that was taken in Mexico in 1985. Two Natal trainers drinking margaritas. Paul Gadsby and I, look how thin we were, James. I couldn't get those pants on today.
Things change, don't they?
Look at that. Margarita's 75 cents. All drinks.
The prices change as well.
So send anybody got old photos, get them in by email, by any way, and we can have a good laugh and go down memory lane. But let's get on to our winners that we had, our stakes races over the weekend. And the first one we're going to is at Durbanville, and we saw the return of Active War.
2,400 metres. A huge roar goes up and Shahar moves through to pick up the early lead, and New Bay has been settled into second. Erupt follows that one third, with Manatee towards the inside. Flintshire and Dolnea on the outer, and look at Golden Horn.
Gonna whip them in as they flatten for the run to the judge in the Dinah Stakes with 400 metres left to go. In front it's Come Fly With Me, and Inora is right alongside of her in second. Then comes Fear Not along the inside, being followed by Just Felicity. Deeper out we got Eros Girl, then comes Harvard Crimson into the final 250. Come Fly With Me now being pressed by Inora, and Inora comes forward under the hands, puts her head in front, back towards the inside, Fear Not, but Inora now sweeps into the lead close to home, and Inora wins the Dinah Stakes from Come Fly With Me. Fear Not towards the inside, Harvard Crimson.
Well, sorry, we got the Dinah Stakes. That was run this weekend, and James Inora thrives in Cape Town.
Yeah, she's a beautiful, beautiful filly. I love her, and just Mike Bass, first and second. Walter, keep up the good work. I hear you doing the physio and doing all these things.
Fantastic.
He's under pressure, got the yard going beautifully, first and second in the Dinah Stakes, and everything's run smoothly. It shows you when you've got an operation that's properly
Correct.
run.
We've seen
he's the general. He's running the show, but.
Be good to see him again soon, and well done, Mark, and to your whole team, especially your family. Very proud of you guys. They're doing well. And Inora, well done to Drakenstein. This is by Trippy. She does thrive down there.
Wow, Trippy's had a great weekend as well. Let's go and have a look at the next one. Hopefully we're going to get the Matcham Stakes. Let's go and see if we can get the Matcham Stakes.
As they corner for home with just over 700 metres left to go. In front it's Honeston that leads the way from Charles Lytton. Then comes Heartland, being followed by Sail for Gold. Behind that we got Active War. He's 7 lengths off that leader. Next towards the inside of that lot we find Master's Eye as they settle for the run to the line. 400 metres left to go in the Kuda Matcham Stakes. It's Charles Lytton in front. Heartland along the inside. Look towards the outside. Active War is now being produced, and he's starting his run towards the inside. It's Sail for Gold. Heartland along the inside. Charles Lytton, but here comes Active War. He's in full cry in the closing stages, and Active War, the champ, is back, and back with a bang. Active War beats Heartland. Then came Charles Lytton behind that.
The champion back, very impressive, quickened up, lovely ride by Arthur Marcus, and the race sponsored by Kuda. Now, very good bunch of guys, the Kuda guys. They put a lot into the game.
Yeah, Van Smith and those guys, they're great. I saw them at the Gallops at Summerhill the other day, and they not only do a lot of insurance, and I think Candice and Marky Bass are involved there, and the whole thing. And I think Mike set the whole company up. That was the vision, and really, it's they sponsor a race. They put together syndicates. They do a lot.
Very good
company, and well done to them. And lovely to have them involved. Let's go to Joburg, and we're going to have a look at the Spring Challenge.
Race 7 and first, the Spring Challenge.
Let's go and have a look and see what we got here.
Okay.
To Bezanova. Light the Way is racing around 8 lengths from that leader. Move Feed, and at the back end of the field is half the deficit past the 800 metres mark. Trip to Heaven is making his own pace. He guards them along. From Boucle Top, he races in second. Forest Fox is well positioned at the rail in third in the yellow. Easy Lovers in the pink sleeves. The white cap of White Line Fever. Ice Machine is 3 wide into the home straight, but he's in striking distance and just 3 lengths off the leader. And Charles Bezanova, Light the Way, Move Feed, and then came half the deficit, but Trip to Heaven tries to skip away past the 300 metres board. In second place is Ice Machine. Then comes Boucle Top and White Line Fever, but it's Trip to Heaven in front. He's got a 2-length advantage, and he's seeing them off. Trip to Heaven's 2 lengths in front of Boucle Top. Ice Machine races in third, but he stays all right. He stays this distance without any fuss. Trip to Heaven has won it. Second to Boucle Top, third maybe White Line.
We said it was a good weekend for Trippy, and well done to Chris Van Niekerk, Sean Terry, and Swanga Kumalo front-running tactics on Trip to Heaven. Good horse, James.
Yeah, Marcus owns this with Chris. He's
Is
got
Marcus
yeah,
in it as
they
well?
own it together.
Okay.
And a very nice horse. I know that Sean's always had a high opinion of this horse, and it's a great start to them for the season. He's a very nice
Ice
horse.
Machine tighten up from this?
Yeah, I would think so. He'd probably going for the charity mile at the end of the month. But there's some wonderful racing coming up. But this next one, we're going to show the fillies, Joburg's Fillies Spring Challenge. Oh, I love this filly. I think this filly is different class.
Yeah.
So let's go and have a look here.
Then came Laser Star in the red and blue colours. She's third and just 2 lengths from the leader. Then came Madame Dubois. She's also well positioned. Fire Dancing then keeps her company. That's racing in 5th. Love to Sail in the orange and black is 3 wide for the lads. Alice Springs against the fence and Sabahar's at the back of the field. Only 7 lengths in it as they're about to get to the final 600 metres. It's Sarve the leader. Laser Star's now in second. She's got dead aim for Sarve and she's got a length to make up. Then came Featherfoot. Madame Dubois in the black and red colours. They followed further back by Fire Dancing. Alice Springs, 300 metres left to go. It's Sarve in the lead. Laser Stars all out to cut the deficit. Then Featherfoot and Madame Dubois towards the outside. Love to Sail's next best. Here goes Laser Star. She's putting her stride together. 100 metres left to go. Sarve at her inside, but Laser Star is quickening and quickening best of all. Laser Star has beaten Sarve. Then came Madame Dubois. 4th, maybe Love to Sail.
Yes, superb filly. This is a daughter of Toreador who's doing so well. Toreador's a very good stallion, well-bred horse who's really producing good horses. And Laser Star, well done to Ormond Ferraris, great trainer. And Waishong riding it for his wife.
Yeah, it's wonderful, this filly. I remember seeing her as a yearling. She was outstanding. And Tawny Syndicate bred her. That's, those boys in Joburg who run a great show. And Toreador's got to be one of the best value for money stallions around. I think he's still 15 grand or something.
Service. He's a very good stallion. I've organised some mares.
He had a very good horse with Mike the Cock. It was his first.
Dennis Dry won the Group 1 with it. That's right.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
And he just produces horse after horse that can run. He's a very, very good stallion.
He's got a lot of good horses in the ground at the moment.
This filly's top class. She gets 14.50, I think, so top. But Waishong has a very good relationship with her, and wonderful to see. But then we're going to move on and have a look at the Arc de Triomphe, which I found very sad because I really wanted Treve to win. And for those of you that haven't seen it, well, the best horse in Europe won the race of the day. Let's go and have a look at the Arc de Triomphe.
Arc de Triomphe, 2,400 metres. A huge roar goes up and Shahar moves through to pick up the early lead. And New Bay has been settled into 2nd position. Erupt follows that one 3rd with Manatee towards the inside. Flintshire and Dolnia on the outer, and look at Golden Horn. This one going right towards the centre of the track. So Frankie Dettori has adopted unusual tactics on the outside. Now he's just angling back to join the others, but the head is at an angle as Shahar takes them along. New Bay 2nd, Flintshire 3rd, then Erupt towards the inside and Dolnia. Golden Horn up on the outer, Manatee behind those. Then following Manatee is Free Eagle, black with the white sleeves. On the inside is Siljan Saga. Just looking for Treve in the back group, but towards the outside. So Thierry Janet, obviously well aware of the danger of getting balked in. Prince Gibraltar races on the outside of that one. The O'Brien pair of Shogun and Founder towards the inside. Then further back down the field, Silverware and the all-white of Spirit Jim as they go through these first 700 metres. And it's Shahar and Gregory Benoit. Golden Horn, Frankie Dettori from that wide draw has managed to get into 2nd position. Ooh, there's just a bit of a bumping there. Flintshire on the outside, New Bay on the inner, Dolny and Erupt follow those. Then Siljan Saga with on the outside Free Eagle, Manatee on the inner. Trev in about 10th position, Gray with the maroon cap as they go towards the false straight. That one's racing next to Tapestry. On the inside of those is Eagle Top, then Prince Gibraltar. Following that one is Frine. Then further behind Found, who's got a lot to do from that position as they move down towards the straight. About 700 still to race. And Shahar still has the lead to Golden Horn in 2nd. Flintshire on the outside, New Bay on the inner. Dolnia and Erupt follow those. Trev is moving up on the outside now of Free Eagle as they begin the turn in, and Trev's got a lovely free run there on the outside, if she's good enough. Now New Bay comes bursting between horses to tackle Golden Horn, but Golden Horn got first run. Golden Horn has the lead. Here's Trev on the outside. Flintshire battles away behind those with Erupt on the inner. Trev's trying to come there, but Golden Horn has the lead from Flintshire and Erupt, and Trev on the outside who's hanging. Golden Horn is still in front. Flintshire tries hard behind, but it's Golden Horn who's going to lead to the line. Golden Horn's won it to Flintshire second. Trev only third in a photo with New Bay, and behind those was Erupt. Trev never really got going. She might not even have got third. She's in a photo with New Bay on the inside, but Golden Horn has provided Frankie Dettori with his fourth.
Well, there we go. The best horse in Europe now, James. Golden Horn by Cape Cross. Cape Cross, a wonderful stallion. If you think of See the Stars, a Ouija board, and John Goslin's first arc.
Yeah.
Frankie, your man Frankie.
Frankie, fourth Arc de Triomphe. He joins the greats who won 4. No one's won more than 4 Arc de Triomphs.
Okay.
And Frankie rode this horse a peach.
Yeah.
I can't say the same for Thierry. I thought he rode it like an apprentice.
He was way wide. He couldn't get in.
When you watch the race, the pacemaker is Cricket Head's horse, chief pacemaker.
Yeah.
Okay, Frankie is genius because he goes right out and from the start to make sure that he can angle across and get behind the pacemaker. But the pacemaker is going no pace. Even Golden Horn has to ease off its heels and come out because he's not going fast enough. Paul Treve is called Trev, or what they call
Trevor Ferry.
Trevor Ferry is caught 6 wide, pulling. This guy never got cover, never gave her a chance to use her speed. You know, honestly, when you get to a race like this and it's going for its third arc, I don't know if it would have won.
No, sure.
But at the end of the day, give it a chance.
History wasn't made, but James, take a guess what that race is worth in rands.
It doesn't matter.
No, just take a guess. That's what I was
36 million.
Try to 75.
75 million.
75.
No, but that's only because the rand's weak and
Would you like 5 million euros?
Yeah, quite a lot recently.
Yeah, just interesting, James, just talking about Golden Horn. Has now won the Derby, the Coral Eclipse, the Quipco Irish Champion Stakes, and the Arc. There's no doubt it's the best horse in Europe. It's now 4-5 favourite for the Breeders' Cup Turf.
Well, I hope he goes for it, and I think that they've done an amazing job. And the big news as far as the stallion duties is concerned is that they've sold a half share to Dali. Sheikh Mohammed's bought a half share, and he's going to stand at Dali. So maybe we'll get him to Australia, shuttle a few.
Yeah, we'll be
Dali
down there, and we'll try buy a few
Golden Horns. So we'll get a couple of Golden Horns here.
Just a quick touch on the day, James, for the Prix de l'Abbé, which was raced at VAR 1 years ago. The British trainer Robert, let me get his name, Robert Cowell, I think it is.
Robert Cowell, yeah.
Robert Cowell, he's a great trainer of sprinters. He took off Gold Dream, who had previously won the King's Stand Stakes. That when won it, the last since the millennium, 15 races, 13 times the English and Irish have won it. There were only 2 French horses in Prix de l'Abbé this year.
Well, they don't really breed speed horses. When you look at the stallion book and whatever,
it's not speed.
Whereas the English are starting to go more for type of speed horses. You've got Fastnet Rocks and horses like that. That now stand in England. It's quite interesting that fact that different countries breed different types of horses. The Americans go for pure speed horses.
Australian speed.
And Australian speed, and the Australians will never win the Melbourne Cup again with an Australian bred horse. I don't believe.
No, I don't believe either.
And the other interesting race on the day was a filly called Ballydoyle won the big fillies, the Marcel Boussac. Okay,
and the foray was won by a horse called Make Believe, son of McPhee, first season stallion.
But interesting that Ballydoyle would name, it's called Ballydoyle?
It's called Ballydoyle.
Yeah, would name a horse, was it called Coolmore?
It's one of the two, so it's named after the home base.
Named after, and it's the best 2-year-old around, 2-year-old filly around.
Very good.
Maybe it's called Coolmore, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's the problem with, going
memories
through all of this. But listen.
We're listening.
We're calling it a day because there's nothing else to really chat about, and we're going to talk to Dan Canaman.
Dan Canaman's coming in
about his trials and tribulations of
his life.
What's happened in the last 6 months to poor Dan. Okay, we'll have Dean Canaman in your call after this race.
Lager Deluxe is closest to us with his head in front. Tennessee Strategy and Midnight Serenade. But Lager Deluxe is now stretching out in devastating style. Undefeated, 4 from 4. He's like a strike of lightning. Here's Lager Deluxe.
Well, you know, we always talk to the trainer who wins the July after the July, but this guy's been hard to track down. He's got so many things going on in his life. You know, getting things set up, moving around the country, Durban, Cape Town, backwards and forwards. Eventually we tracked him down. We got him yesterday. We said, you've got to come. Left likes to call him Dan Caname. Why does he call you Dan Caname? What's this all about?
Well, you know, Paul, with his and his sense of humour, he's like, yeah, but I don't know where he's got this from, you know. Where it comes from, I don't know. I know there's fish, which is sturgeon, and it's that, you know, with him with his nicknames. But James, I'm so happy that you've got me on the show. We haven't had an interview like this. I think the last time was maybe after 1 July with Eye of the Tiger.
I think
yeah, many years ago.
Yeah,
you know? But great to be here.
Well, it's fantastic to have you here. That was a master feat with Power King, because he's a horse that's not easy to train.
Yeah, he's not a sound horse, and you know, I brought him to Durban as a 2-year-old, and he won first time out. Kevin Shea won on him, and then I put him away, and I didn't bring him back as a 3-year-old to Durban because you know, typical Silvano just needed a bit more time, and I thought I'd keep him for the winter series, a bit of sting up the ground. And he almost pulled that Triple Crown off. And then we raced him during the summer season in Cape Town. We actually thought he'd run in the first 4 in the Met. He ran a bit below himself, and then I brought him up to Durban as a 4-year-old. We actually gelded him. I was battling with his blood for quite some time. And said to
was he concentrating?
Yeah, very badly. You know, I was battling even through the time of the Triple Crown. I was battling with his blood. And then we started the summer campaign, and I said, you know, can't carry on training him like this. And we gelded him, and things turned around. You know, if you cut them, the picture, you know, changes completely. I've never had problems with him since then. Came up to Durban, and that's history.
I thought it was a master stroke getting him in with the weight that you got him in, because the weight is the whole key. And you won the July before with horses that are well weighted. Eye of the Tiger was one of them, obviously. But just the way you planned it. Were you ever in any doubt that you might not get in the race? Because he was right at the bottom.
Well, I must say, you know, when I arrived in Durban, and I had some nice horses, and I said, you know, I don't think I really got any horses to win the real big ones, you know. And they said about the July. I said, you know, the July, I don't know, I'll even have a run in the July. But I said, the only chance I've got is Power King. He could get a run in the July. So I started off, I ran him in I think a pinnacle over 1,400 metres, and he beat the horse Ice Machine, and he beat him extremely well. I know Ice Machine hadn't run for almost a year. But my horse wasn't quite ready yet, and he won that race. And Anthony Dalpesce rode him, was very impressed. And then I ran him in the Gravel 1900, and that performance in the Gravel 1900 was a great performance. You know, I actually thought something had gone wrong with him during the running of the race. If you remember correctly, you know, MJ rode him, Bielefeld, and you know, he ran like a 2-year-old that had never raced. But it was his first time at Gravel, under lights.
Under lights,
yeah. And he came into the straight just before he swung for home. He actually fell out and further 2 lengths behind the field, behind the second last horse. And he took off, and he was green, running all over the place, and he got beat a neck. But, you know, had he won that race, there wouldn't have a big difference with the handicapper.
You know, then 2 kilos more.
2 kilos, and that could have been the swing. So, you know, it was unlucky in that race. But in hindsight, it was in our favour, and he managed to qualify. And then it was quite a break between the Gravel 1900 and the July. And the reason for that is because he's quite a tricky horse to train. I thought, you know, I can keep him sound. With the wonderful facilities that are provided by Gold Circle at Summerveld, I could manage to race him there and have the long gap going into the July handicap. And I thought, I'd keep him fit and keep him ticking over. So straight into July.
I'm glad you mentioned the facilities, because I've always said Summerveld, and I know you've always been a Cape Town boy, but you always go to Clearwood. You know, and the Clearwood guys love Clearwood. But when you actually settle into Summerveld, it has got everything you need to train horses.
Oh, James, absolutely. You know, I cut my teeth at Clearwood. I mean, I've been coming to Durban. I haven't missed since '93, and our business started here in 1973. Our father was coming to Clearwood, and the Cape guys, You know, we loved Clearwood because it was warm.
How's your father, just as a matter of interest? How's Petey?
Well, he's okay. He's doing fine. And I'm in Cape Town. I pop in to see him. He comes to the stable once a week. You know, his partner, she's got 1 or 2 horses with me. And
Hope you charge him training fees.
Well, I know she always asks him when's the horse going to run. He says, just pay your training fees. You'll know when the horse is going to run. So, but he's doing fine. Thank you, James.
Good.
Getting back to that Summerveld, the training facilities. Yeah, they are, I think, tremendous facilities. It's got everything there, you know. And so going back to Clearwood, yeah, sure, it was warmer, and no one likes change. And there was a certain trainer many years ago, who was one of the top trainers, had a bad season in Durban many years ago, and said, well, I believe he said it was very difficult to train at Summerveld. It's just because of 4 seasons one day. And, you know, that's change, progress in life. And so I gave it some thought, and I said, you know, I'm going to leave earlier this year. I normally used to go arrive at the 21st of March at Clearwood, and I thought, well, this year, let me go early, first week of March. People asking, why is he going so early? You know, it's like the reasons and things like, and I thought to myself, I'll go quietly, go in and I'll just go feel those tracks out. Maybe give them an extra 2-3 weeks or extra, you know, to Clearwood, I'd race them, I could race them a week later, that travelled well. But I'll give them 3 to 4 weeks before I run them. Let me go feel the tracks out and find out what it's all about. And I find, you know, it doesn't matter where you go in the world. Horses are going to pick up problems on different tracks. And you go to places like Singapore, and I was over there and I stayed with Patrick Shaw for the first time I ever went. I saw horses with subtropical joint disease. You know, I'd never seen joints like that in my life, you know, and you go certain tracks will give you back problems or hock problems. And so people say, well, Summerveld, you know, go through the base and things like that, you know. It happens. You're going to pick up problems, but you've got, the grass is fantastic. You know, you've got the poly track to train on. Yeah. You've got grass on a Monday morning. You can come from the 18 right around up the straight. You know, on a Tuesday morning you can go. You know, you can go to the bottom track. You know, on a Thursday. You know, Saturday morning you can go 800 meters up the straight. So you've got the ability to. You've got the grass. And I must say, for example, in Cape Town, you know, only every second week you can gallop horses, and that's at Durbanville. And then you can only take a maximum of 10 horses. Now, and then they put you right up on the outside. Now, when you've got facilities like Summerveld, where I can gallop horses, I can pick up a phone and I can phone out and say, your horse hasn't run for 6 months, but I think I got him strapped. Because I've got the facilities to do that.
Sure.
I would pick up a telephone, you phone him and say, look, horse hasn't run for 6 months, I think he badly need of a run. And it happens to all trainers. But if you've got the correct facilities, there's no need to pick up the phone and say, your horse is going to be badly in need of a run. There is nothing better than a run on horse just to bring him to his peak.
Just tighten it.
But yeah, absolutely. That's my opinion. So look, the seasons treat me very well. And but I think, you know, anybody knock Summerveld, I've got news for them. I think it's wonderful. I'd like to see, you know, I'd like to see us improve our facilities in Cape Town. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. That's where I'm based.
Yeah.
But it's and I've never been, Canamas have never been Monas. But I must say, I've been around this game a long time now. I grew up in those tracks in Milton. Something's got to be done about it. We've got to improve facilities. Cape Town is horse country.
I always say to Bass, who's I always going to say with Mike and Carol, and you know, I say, you guys have got to be geniuses to train on these facilities. You've got that deep beach track, then you've got a cinders track that you sort of, people are hacking, people are trotting. Where do you work these horses? You know, that's basically it. And you guys produce the best horses around. I know you've probably got the best bloodstock, but you keep them going and keep winning with them. What's interesting with you, Dean, is that you've now got a permanent satellite yard here now. Is that now set up?
Yeah, I've got permanent boxes, permanent satellite yard. You know, Gold Circle gave me the boxes last year, September. I was going to bring horses up ready in September, but unfortunately it was a accommodation problem with the grooms. It wasn't ready yet, and so we waited for the champion season. And but that's all. It's the go-ahead is there. We're there, and I've got horses. I brought some more horses up about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I brought some more horses up. The horses that were competing in champion season in Durban, those higher rated horses are going back on Thursday, Wednesday morning back to Cape Town, because the better type has got to compete for the bigger races in Cape Town. Like Dennis Dry goes down to Cape Town, and we come for the champion season, come and go. But I've always wanted to expand the business. I kept my Cape Town base, and I've always wanted to be in Durban and train horses in Durban. Cape season is the Cape season. That's the champion season. And, you know, you've got to look, any business. You've got to analyze your product. You've got to have a look at your horses and say, well, I think these horses will be better suited to the poly or this or that, during the winter one will compete here. So basically, I've brought some horses up to Durban, send those back, and I'll be moving horses between Cape Town and Durban, and hopefully to expand the business. I find racing in Durban very exciting. I find it's a very good vibe. You've got the options. Saying to my owners, now we've got the options. We can use the grass at Scottsville. We can race there. Or we could race a gravel on the grass. We've got the poly. We've even got we're based here, which I'm planning to do if all goes well. Maybe one or two of those better horses, even if there aren't races for them in the off season now, I can train them at Summerveld and raid Johannesburg.
That was what I was going to ask you. That seems to be a really good option, is to be able to base them here where it is warmer and whatever, and get them ready for the autumn season, the spring season in Johannesburg. And you've got to have horses like that in your care.
Yeah, I have got. My string is, I average about 90 horses in training. And some discussion we've had before. To numbers today in this game. If you want to be in the top 10 of this country, it's all about numbers. With 90 horses in training, it's difficult to stay in the top 10 because you've got to have 120
Do you want
horses
quality?
plus. Well, that's the question of what do you want? Quality, we all would like quality, and it's not that easy. I find it getting more and more difficult going to the sales and getting people to buy horses. The top market is very strong, and I think the middle market has fallen a bit. That's what I think. Because you buy. There's only a limited amount of owners are buying horses right on the top, but that middle market, before you could go along and spec an horse for 300,000-400,000 rand. You come back, you put it together very easily. I find it's becoming more and more difficult. That market in the middle.
Just talking about that, the owners that you have, obviously Lady Laidlaw has been a big owner. I know you guys had lots of horses for the Becks. Has that changed? How's your owner base look?
My owner base, I've got some very good owners, and I've been very fortunate that Lady Laidlaw Kaya Stables has joined me and supported me well. I've still got owners that we've had for years. There have been a few changes. There were a few political issues, but
as there always are.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've had owners that have been loyal to me for many years, and I'm you're always looking to improve and to attract new owners. But I've had owners that have been with me for many years, and a lot are very happy with the plans that lie ahead. This Durban, Cape Town off season, or having permanent satellite yards.
Overseas owners, do you find that Cape Town attracts them? Are you able to pull those type of owners?
I've always found that in Cape Town, our biggest buying power has always obviously come from Europe, and it makes it a lot easier. I mean, today with the currency, you're based in England or in Europe and buy horses in South Africa. I mean, it's only a pleasure because you can't feel, what does it cost to keep horse in training in England today or in Ireland, or in France, and our stake money's good. You buy a horse in this country today. What's it costing you? £400 a month to keep horse in training.
Yeah.
And you've got no time change. You fly directly up from England. You can come for a long weekend, which we have clients like that used to do that before. And but I've got a few European-based owners, and I've got some good South African owners that have been loyal to me for many years.
Do you think South African racing does enough to attract these people, especially Cape Town, where you guys are set up for the Cape summer season? It's just beautiful to go have a few horses. You could live anywhere in Europe and have a few horses there. And I think that we don't do enough to get people who make it a holiday destination.
Well, no, absolutely. And I think a couple of years ago they were trying that, some of these workshops overseas. And I do believe this because during the summer, January, February, March, there's a lot of tourists from Europe. There's a lot of Irish, a lot of English. There's people come over and they've got horses in their blood. But are we marketing our brand correctly? Because you know yourself, come to Cape Town January time, come Met time. How many tourists are there? I mean, you go to the beachfront, you go to the hotels, you go to the restaurants. There are people from all over the world, and there's a lot of English and there's a lot of Irish, and I don't think we've really tapped on that market.
What about exports of horses, Dean? Obviously it affects you, You import horses as well. You know how difficult that is, but export of horses seems to be. We just don't seem to be making any progress.
You know, I agree with 100%. We've made no progress whatsoever, in my opinion. You know, every year that's going to be, we're almost there. We're almost there. A year goes by and nothing's really happened. Last year, and what Michael de Kock does, what he's achieved, to take horses, the South African horses, and trainers have sent horses to him, to take these horses, go through that quarantine process. And I was in August last year, I was in Mauritius, and I went to go look at the horses with him. Those horses standing in Mauritius, and then going to Europe, and then going to Dubai. You're on your back foot all the time. What he's done, what he's achieved is fantastic. What these horses and South African horses have done in the international market is fantastic. I saw those horses, because you've got to drop their feed, as a trainer, you've got to drop their feed, you can't exercise them, get muscle wastage, and now you've got to get them over there, and it's a change of climate, and then build them up again. It's very difficult. If we could only get that quarantine correct and get all those protocols sorted out, I mean, it would turn this industry around.
Just a quick word on Michael. I'm glad you brought him up because obviously we're both friends of his, but it must be debilitating to have the job that he has, to go through all that stress of getting those horses there and trying to win those races in Dubai, where people are just shipping them in and out, and winning willy-nilly. I just think it's amazing that he's still got the drive that he's got to do it. Most of us would have said that,
Well, when you're getting paid in dollars, I'm going to have the drive, that's for sure. But I've done a few trips overseas in Australia and Argentina and Brazil with Michael and the team, and Jean Malab and Dr. McVeigh.
I hear you, you sort of, the life and soul, they don't actually want to go on these trips without you.
Well, I'm not going anymore. I haven't been for many, many years. It's becoming more and more difficult to buy, I think, overseas with the current rate of exchange, unless you've got your international clients. But because if you're all over the world like that as a trainer, it's pressure, it's stressful. The horses get to Dubai, they've got to produce. It is, but I think Michael, as he said to me once before, he said, Dean, Graham's treated me well. Got a lucky, he said, but it's very important if you're good trainers to manage people correctly. We're referring to the soccer coaches, managing people. That's important, You've got to have the right people working for you. That's also very important. You've got to employ the right people, like any business.
Yeah.
But he's done a marvelous job, and it is big pressure.
Getting back to you, your life's changed considerably. You're now engaged in Durban, which we're very pleased about because we need some class in Durban. And how's it going?
My personal life? No, it's going well. Yes, I got engaged to a lovely lady, Tracy, a fantastic woman, and brings great stability in my life. And as I said, I'm spending quite a lot of time in Durban. But let's just because rumours go around, things like that. Kaname is not going to live in Cape Town anymore, and Cape Town's still going to be my main base. And I'm just going to be moving up and down, moving horses, as I said earlier on in the interview, between Cape Town and Durban.
Well, the point is that, as you can see, Mike de Kock's main base is Durban, but he lives in Johannesburg. Okay, you can do anything in this racing industry, but to be at the top of the game, you've got to be able to dip your feet in the water everywhere. And I think, I know Tracy, and she's a wonderful girl, and congratulations to both of you. And
Thank you.
May it be a long and happy association. But she's the type of girl, she'd be very happy to live with you in Cape Town, I'm sure, and come back to Durban. She's got lots of mates here, and you've got to have that type of life. To travel around South Africa is easy.
No, very much so. You know the American market better than I do. Trainers in America move around and do the circuit. They move all out. And I felt like you're sitting in Cape Town. You're just in Cape Town, and you're becoming like stagnant. Let's just get out there and be more progressive.
We've all said, you mountain goats, you're very blinkered. You sit there on the side of the mountain, and that's it. You don't even know what's going on elsewhere. So we've at least opened your eyes.
Yeah, no, it's taken a long time. We're getting there. So. But it's, as I said, I love it. And the stake money is good, And I must say, we're racing maidens for 80,000 rand.
Yeah.
You know, it's good money. And next week we've got 3 meetings on. I think we're racing next Wednesday, Friday, the Sunday, the Wednesday, the Friday. So there's a lot happening here.
Well, I think with the support that Durban's getting, certainly as far as the betting rand's concerned, you're going to find that we're going to run more race meetings here than anywhere else in South Africa. And I know for the smaller trainers in Durban, it's a problem because you got to understand from their side of the fence, they run a yard and it's very hard to take on the big springs for the big winter season, which is 4 or 5 months now it goes. The rest of the time they try and get them some themselves. So they say, you know, can a man move in here? And we got all these guys raiding, and guys from Joburg have come and taken satellite yards. It's very difficult to win races here.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter where you go. It's very difficult to win races, you know, and you've got to have the horses to stock, as you quite correctly say. And I know that it's an issue that was brought up over the years. You know, we tried to do this a couple of years ago, and it was a bit unhappiness, and once again the politics. But you know, came to the table, discussed it, and Gold Circle granted me that license to have a permanent satellite yard. It is difficult for the trainers. I find that it's becoming more and more difficult for trainers in this country. You know, and it's hard up top there. And the chaps in the middle of the road with very small strings and limited buying power, it's very, very difficult. And especially if you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of the major problems, and you hear from trainers and speaking to my colleagues here in Durban, such slow payment. And you know, it's like any business, you know, it's got a cash flow, you've got to pay, you know, you've got to feed the horses, you've got wages to pay, you've got farriers to pay, you've got everybody to pay. And guys are under huge financial stress, and it's a very unfair call.
I'm glad you brought it up because it seems to be one of the biggest problems as far as training is concerned, is cash flows. Are we training enough? Are we charging enough training fees? Are training fees high enough?
Well, I you know, people have mentioned that, you know, Canada is expensive. Not expensive. You know, I remember a couple of years ago when I took over the business from my father, and then I took it 100% financially. And I had Jaime Brooks and Associates coming to do an audit and a costing on the business. And they say I'm expensive. And he had a look at this, and he looked at me and he said, you know, I've never done an audit on a racing in a yard, but a business is a business. And he said, you're way out. He said, you're a gambler. I said, what do you mean I'm a gambler? He said, you're a gambler. He said, you know, the hidden expenses, the overheads here. And we were probably one of the most expensive trainers in Cape Town. And he said, you're way out. And you know, I know what some trainers are charging. You know, and I was speaking to a colleague of mine a couple of years ago, and his books were closing, only like 30% of his money had come in. So I do believe that the average trainer is not charging the correct amount.
And it's difficult being a trainer because most of us are horsemen. We don't have sort of accounting degrees or whatever, and as a result, we don't really know what we should be doing and how we should be running a business properly. You know, I think that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, it is. You know, and that's why I got professional advising, and I have a very good team, an accountant working for me and controlling my debtors and creditors. It costs money, but it's been a big help for me. You know, and it's, once again, cash flow is very, very important. And yeah, that is it. Because what is your job? I'm a trainer. You know, the job is to prepare these horses, to communicate with your clients, to prepare the coach. You've got to prepare these horses for the races. And I know you must have control of your business, but you haven't got the time to sit and do your debtors and creditors and look at this and that. You know, and I have slow payment. I have people that work for me that will phone and makes it a lot easier. So yeah, so it's I think the business is well structured.
It's an incredibly difficult job. You've done it incredibly well. It's always a pleasure chatting to you, and congratulations again on winning the July this year with, as you say, nothing. You came here with nothing really. Lady Laidlaw's first day she's ever been to Greyville. I think she'd be looking forward to coming back here.
Oh, yeah, no, she was absolutely thrilled. The hospitality was great, you know, to come in for the weekend, and it's the first time she'd ever been to Durban, and to see her horse win, it was a great thrill, you know, and took the pressure off me too. It was really a great thrill. It was a great day, and the July is, as I said, it's the greatest race to win in this country. It's a tricky race. It's a difficult race. You've got to come with the right weight and the right draw, and then you need a lot of luck. There's always a lot of hard luck stories. When that hooter went, you know, and, you know, it's a great thrill.
Dean, you know, it's a pleasure having you here in Durban. We love having you around us, and may your business prosper, may your life prosper, because you deserve everything that you get. You're down the middle, straight down the middle, top of the line type of guy. We, you know, it's a pleasure having you here. Thank you,
James.
very
Thank
much.
you. Only doing one thing wrong. I still haven't got on the golf course yet. It's taken me a long time. Thank you very much.
I don't think we'll ever get you on the golf course. You know, your father stopped you when you were a child, and that was the end of it. He said that you weren't playing golf. You were hanging around with you know, the wrong type of people. We heard all about it. You were going down the track to go and hit golf balls, but you weren't hitting golf balls. We heard that there was other things going on. Leave it at that.
Thank you. Thanks, James.
Dean Canham, always one of the most colourful and wonderful guys around, and it's such a pleasure to have him in the studio. I hope you've enjoyed the interview, and we really are very pleased to have him here in KwaZulu-Natal, as I've said. And may his business prosper, and may racing prosper for you this week. We'll look forward to seeing you again next week.
Biggest millions I've ever seen. Grace Valana, the leader. Grace Valana. Grace Valana.